Looks like it, and we'll show that forecast in just a little bit. Yeah, so this weekend's actually looking really a lot better for everyone.
Yay.
Yes, across the state. We're going to see some big time improvement. This morning, though, it's been some very slow, minor improvements. We definitely have a lot of cloud cover out there right now. We had a storm system. There we go. Just wondering, are we gonna go? So today, yes, much quieter. We did have the storms that came through yesterday, and Felicia sent this one in for Weatherford. I loved it because it basically encompasses everything. Everyone's got their Christmas lights up, and we've also got the thunderstorm in the background. We've got the hail on the ground. So beautiful picture. It is December 1st, that's for sure. But yesterday we ended up with 0.18 here in Oklahoma City. Now most of the rain, of course, fell in northwest Oklahoma and also the far southeast. But yeah, it could be a while before we actually get that next chance of rain. So this is how we're ending the month of November, 0.31 below average. But as far as temperatures are concerned, we had a lot of days in there where we were in the 60s, 70s, and even 80s at the beginning of the month. So we're actually going to end November 2.7 degrees above normal. Now, as we get into December, things do get a little bit cooler. So we start out with temperatures in the mid 50s. By the time we end the month, the average high is only 48 degrees. And same thing with those overnight lows. We start in the low 30s. We end in the upper 20s. So eventually it's going to get a whole lot colder around here. And it's also one of our driest months of the year. So we typically get about 1 and a little over 3/4 of an inch of rain in Oklahoma City at least. And snow, it certainly does happen, but we average just under 2 inches, and it's certainly not a big severe weather month, but we all know that that can happen at any point of the year. Yesterday, we definitely had some strong storms that moved through, but this storm system is now pulling away from us, but we still have a lot of cloud cover. You can see all the clouds across central and eastern Oklahoma, while in the meantime, we're actually seeing lots of sunshine across the far west. So they are slowly starting to kind of dissipate a little bit, but it could be a while before we actually do get some breaks in the clouds in the metro. This is our Enid camera up of our Lucky Star Skycam network. We're at 40 degrees. That wind is out of the west-northwest at 11 miles an hour, so it does feel more like the low 30s. Upper 30s and low 40s across north, some mid and upper 40s across the south, even some low 50s down there in Idabel. Again, there's the northwest wind between about 10 to 15, and earlier we're seeing gusts higher than that, so the wind is starting to subside a little bit. So wind chills won't be as big of a factor later today, but it still feels anywhere between about 15 to 20 degrees colder than where we were this time yesterday. So the cold front has certainly moved through, but we will see some improvement later this weekend. You can see that storm, though, over the Rockies. That's going to stay to the north as we get into tomorrow, but it will provide a little bit of a wind shift for parts of the state as we get into tomorrow afternoon. So generally, it's still going to be cool, but I think it's going to be warmer than today. We're going to see a little bit more sun, so temperatures in the 50s. Another front moves in on Sunday, but temperatures don't move a whole lot. In fact, I think most of us should see 60s return. Early next week still looks pretty quiet. Temperatures look seasonally cool, 50s, low 60s. It also looks dry. It could be a while before that next chance of storms does move in, but eventually it is still showing up in the forecast. But right now we're kind of looking at that weekend of December 9th, December 10th, and a little bit after that. So this storm, some of the data kind of keeping it to the south and west. And what that means for us is at least we're going to have maybe a few days in there where we could see a chance of rain and storms, potentially parts of the state even seeing some snow. Today, though, temperatures not getting out of the 40s, it looks like at this point. So 46 degrees in Oklahoma City, the low 40s in the north, the 50s across the south. And overnight tonight, we're talking about temperatures dropping down into the middle 30s, mid and upper 30s across the north. The thing is, we could also see some fog develop by early tomorrow morning. So we're going to watch that very closely. But tomorrow afternoon, temperatures should eventually make it into the upper 50s. Eventually, the wind's going to be out of the west to southwest, but then that front's going to move through, and that's going to allow for that wind to be out of the northwest. If you're headed down to Arlington, though, it's going to be much warmer. In fact, by fourth quarter, we should reach at about 70 degrees, kind of a mix of sun and clouds and a little bit more wind as well. Sunday afternoon, here comes another boundary, but again, that's going to be a dry one for us. Temperatures in the low 60s in Oklahoma City, the upper 50s in Ponca City, about 63 in Clinton and 66 in Lawton, 68 degrees Sunday afternoon in Altus. So next week, right now, it looks really dry, but it also looks a little milder. In fact, we've got a high of 63 on Wednesday, 64 Thursday, with a very slight chance by next Saturday, coming up with highs back in the 60s. Lisa, back to you.
Looks like